and welcome, beloveds, to another episode of Dr. Mumbi's Spiritual Show. Thank you for joining us, beloveds. And this is actually an Ask Dr. Mumbi. There's so much, as I explained, spiritual interference happening right now. The spiritual war is literally like raging in earnest, and all we have to do is stay out of the way and keep ourselves protected, keep ourselves prayed up. I got an email after the show I recently did which talked about your service to humanity will be your security. It will place like an invisible bubble, an auric energetic bubble around you as you go about Mama Earth's business. Like no weapon formed against you will prosper. And that seemed to resonate with a lot of people. And I've been getting a lot of emails about gifts, but there's a particular sister who emailed me recently, and she was talking about how she's literally been drugged and hypnotized, and as they tried to sell her to some sex ring. This is what people are really going through, especially the chosen ones. And I love it because she's like, hi, I'm a chosen one. I'm like, yes, my people. And how she met someone who told her literally, like the person who was trying to sell her into the trafficking literally also told her, yo, you need to discover what's inside of you to see why they're after you so much. And, her whole story, first of all, on a side note, it reminds me how, we have a very present guardian angel spiritual team around us. And sometimes, most of the time, because they've mashed up our gifts, they can enter someone else's body to deliver a message, to expose a truth for you, to try and wake you up. Our spiritual team is working in earnest. But her big, question was, how do I activate my gifts urgently and quickly so that I can protect myself and get myself out of this situation? And, the thing is, beloveds, what has happened with many of our gifts, the gifts to see, the gifts to move things with our mind, to move a mountain into the ocean, beloveds. Who do you think they were talking about? That's a real thing that can happen, to call the spirits to us, there's so much we can do. There's so much interaction we can have, but there's engineered ignorance we're dealing with, brainwashing, and then fighting, these enemies of our soul. And so for me, what I would say about activating your gifts, this is what I was saying, like we've blocked off our gifts because we were coming into such a dense world with such powerful gifts. We blocked them until we reached a certain frequency. And thank God we did, because that is what the enemy of our soul has been after since day one. They've been after our gifts, but they didn't know that they weren't just, they'd been locked up inside, hardwired. And they can only be released at a certain frequency when we are in a certain level of personal power. We made that agreement with our spiritual team. We're the masters who are walking around, beloveds. We told them, yo, I don't want to access my power until I have my personal power. Because we saw what was coming. I told you, beloveds, we chose our parents, we chose our families, everything. We saw what was coming, and we saw the kind of attack we would face, but we came anyway. But best believe we were prepared. And so it's not so much about activating your spiritual gifts for your security, but it's tapping in your team. It's like a relay. Those wrestling matches when there's two partners and you can tap, and like when the guy's being beaten, he can tap in his partner and he'll like scurry out and the guy will come in and take over. We have a team. I said some of us, some are we. Have armies, beloveds, who can come in and reinforce you and give you energy and protect you miraculously and mysteriously. But we have to reach a certain level of vibration for us to activate our gifts. But until we get there, we still have this security. We're fully guarded. But the reason we may not feel the security, or the reason that sometimes the attacks get through our defenses, is because we are energetically open to certain people. And this has been the biggest lesson I've learned, beloveds, in 2021. The reason I was attacked is because those people had access to my energy. I was open to them. I had no defenses to them. I saw them as my friend. I saw them as my mama. I saw them as my daddy. I saw them as whatever. But which means I didn't have any defense to them. And we're the captain of this ship. So anything we say goes. So our security can't, if we say this is yo, don't touch them, they're my friend, or just because energetically the way we're open to them. It's like if they go for them, it will affect us because of the emotions that we have tied. But if you see, beloveds, for many of you chosen ones, there's kind of like a natural barrier to many of the people that you don't know. They can't just come in and attack you. You already have that natural defense. But when you energetically open yourself up to someone, then you give them access to you. And that means that you have no defense against them. Your army can't touch them because you've energetically hooked to them and they're energetically hooked to you. And so they can come in and wreak havoc. And that's why they love to do this in silence. That's why Babylon is all about secrecy and hiding what they're doing. Because the minute you see, your defenses go up and they lose their power. And so the one thing I would start with is if you are not sure, anyway, actually, whether you're sure or not, put up your defenses against everybody in this time. Defenses against everybody. Your mama, your daddy, your uncle, your best friend, your husband. Spiritual defense, spiritual army. Yo, take over. Protect me against anything and everything. That's where you should start. And then secondly, call back your energy. Call back your energy. And there's someone, I don't know, I'd even written your name down where you talked about how you've been calling back your energy daily. And, you actually even added like restored and, restored and something else. Gosh, I can't remember. Restored and overvamped for my use. Because a lot of these people, beloveds, not only are they energetically hooked to you, but they're using your energy against you, which is why their spells work, which is why you encounter misfortune with money, which is why you encounter misfortune in your relationships, which is why a blessing will come this close and then it will literally slip away from you. It's all because you're energetically hooked to them, and then now they're feeding on you and they're literally using your energy to bring you down. So the way you stop all this nonsense, all this fuckery, excuse my French, really that's what it is you put up energetic barriers against everyone. Because as I told you, it's not Babylon that's going to take you out. It's those around you, those nearest and dearest. And for all of you chosen ones who are being gang stalked by the government and other people, there's a reason why that is happening. Actually, let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.
Welcome back, beloveds, to Ask Dr. Mumbi. Special shout out to our Patreon family. We appreciate, love you so much for supporting us on that platform. And everyone who sends us donations, we really, really appreciate, love you so much. We haven't had there's a gift in the mail coming very, very soon. But it's this, as I said, there's a lot of people who are like, how do I activate your gifts? How do I activate my gifts? And the way to activate your gifts, beloveds, is to go higher, to do all the things I've told you, like cleanse yourself, clear yourself, do the necessary work on you, because you are the one who has blocked your gifts from you until you reach a certain level of spiritual maturity, personal power, until you're able to stand up for yourself, defend yourself, get away from your enemies, choose yourself, love yourself more. This is what your higher self, the Most High, wants to see before you can be entrusted with trying to do anything for anyone in the world, beloveds. like to really come into accessing your full power? Can you be trusted with that power, or will you give it away? Because there's people who have been waiting in the sidelines for so long to just pounce, beloveds. They've done everything to try and take those powers. They've put you in bottles. They've done, that's called bottle magic, where they try and bottle up your potential. I mean, these people are sick, beloveds. They've gone to all the elements that you can imagine, doing sacrifices so that you don't get access to it, but they couldn't. And they couldn't get them because you didn't have them fully yet. But as you're raising your vibration, be very aware that you have incredible protection around you. And as I was saying, for those people who are being gang stalked by the government, it's because the government was given access to your energy from such a young age. Like now they've become another spirit or energetic force that can manipulate you. Because many of us, we started going to school like 2-3 years, well, okay, let's say 3-4, around there, to these preschools and kindergarten. So it's like the system got us for so long. The system became another voice in our lives. Like a parent, it replaced the parent's voice. And they taught us how to obey and to do this and to do that. And that's what gives them power. So beloveds, please put up those energetic barriers even against the government and entities that you may not see, spiritual entities that have followed you into this life and are trying to torment you. We wage war not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness, energy, spirits, beloveds, principalities, who can go into, and who even now, because of how we've been educated, they don't even need bodies. They can literally seed thoughts in us, put thoughts in our minds. And that's why also, beloveds, it's so important, if you're going through this, to also engage in some kind of protection ritual. And what people need to understand and understand about rituals is it's like, as above, so below. So when I hold a peace candle, or when I hold a red candle of war, and I ask my ancestors, my voice has power. When I put the intention that my ancestors must visit my enemies and war on my behalf, and I light that candle, the intention of that candle burns through. It's like I'm sending a message. I'm below, sending a message above. And that's how we connect. You see, rituals are like physical things we do to generate faith in us and to connect to our higher self, to give instructions to our spiritual selves, because they need us to give, we're the ones. This is what gives us legal movement here. And our spiritual team, they're not our parents. They're not there to tell us what to do. They're there to assist us. So they'll give us information, but they'll follow us. But we need to do the work ourselves, beloveds. We need to call upon them. We need to cleanse ourselves, cleanse our space. Like, in a way, it's crazy because it's actually over now, but I was facing, it was like that final battle where I told you I wasn't even on the battlefield. Many of you will not even be on the battlefield. But they've tried to bring the battle to my home. So I've had to go back into things like that I'd forgotten. Things like saging my entire home, Yesterday I did frankincense in every single corner of every room. Lighting candles to my ancestors and my spiritual team. I actually have 2 separate altars for them. Calling on the Most High, getting more serious, like making that a daily habit. My sound bowl. Sound is the highest vibration, beloveds. It breaks apart so much dense energy. And there's so many spiritual practices I do before I come on here, but now I've felt led to have the sound bowl here just to, because there's people who know I record my show 2 days a week on this day and that day. And so I've been getting increasing attacks. Like I'll wake up on the day I'm supposed to record the show and all of a sudden I'm super sleepy. But immediately I know what it is and I back to sender. So the things you can do, beloveds, put up your energetic barriers against absolutely everybody. Call back your energy daily. Call it back daily. If you can make it even more, light a candle as you're saying, I call back my energy from every direction, from any and every person, from every age. There's someone who also wrote in the comments how they were like, I call me back to me. I thought that was beautiful. That resonated so deeply. Do that daily, beloveds, if you're under spiritual attack. Constantly cleanse and clear yourself so that there's less attachment to the lower vibrational, so they don't have any access point. Through spiritual baths, through just sitting in meditation, reflection, thinking about what you've been through, beloveds. And then protect your home. Because your energy, your spirit is all in that home. Keep it super clean. Make sure you're clearing it everywhere, whatever you do, even if it's with music you love that is just high vibrational. Open up all the doors, all the windows, and let the music blast through and clear out any lower negative energies. But we have to make it a practice. And then the last thing that is so critical, once you've done all that and is back to sender. Beloveds, there's no spell or incantation you need to cast. You just need to send that stuff back to sender. And if you're feeling confident, send it sevenfold, tenfold, back to sender. Any negativity that someone sends you, back to sender. Any, spell that anyone is doing to bind you, back to sender. And then sit back and watch, because you'll hear about it. Tuko pamoja.